Hello, Internet. Brandon and Jimmy here for Nerd Alert. And we have Ted Lasso news?
I am excited that we have Ted Lasso news.
Are you? Okay, see, this is what I want to get into. I'm interested to see what you think on this. I know you have a different connection to the show as someone who was a massive soccer fan, or is a massive soccer fan, and was a soccer player for quite some time. But it looks like they are right. Jason Sudeikis said on, I think it was the Kelsey's podcast, that they're writing a season 4 of Ted Lasso.
Apple picked up the options for 3 of the main characters, which was Rebecca, who's the owner. God, of course, it slips my mind right now. Leslie, who's her assistant, and I can't remember who the other one was. And this was a while ago. It might have been Coach Beard. But now
I fucking love Coach Beard.
He is so awesome. But did I ever tell you that I've actually seen him perform live? Long ago. I had no idea who he was. I actually went to see because I heard Jason Sudeikis had done this. I'm like, oh, maybe I've seen him. When I was 1999, a long time ago, graduated college. I did the stereotypical, went around Europe for 2 months, and Amsterdam is like my favorite city in the world. I'd been there a couple times my younger playing days. So went and we did, I think it was called something Chicago. Oh, I can't remember what it was called, but it was I didn't do that on purpose.
That was wild.
Yeah, thank you, Google. But anyway, it was this improv show, and it was in Amsterdam, and it was in English, and it was amazing. You sit at benches, they serve food, yell out suggestions to whatever they're doing, and it was something along the lines of from Christ till modern day, whatever it was. And so I went and was looking, and it was not Jason Sudeikis, because I know he was here that performed in our Second City Theater on the Strip for improv, but it was Brendan Hunt, who's Coach Beard. And he performed there, and I'm like, oh my God, the show was so good. I can't remember anything he did specifically, but I saw he was in that cassette from way back then, and I'm like, dude, that is so amazing. Love the dude. But anyway, so now Jason Sudeikis has come out and said that they are working on season 4, and all he has said, he's going to be coaching a girls' team. And what's awesome about this, and this, my wife, love my wife dearly to the ends of the earth, but I never in a million years thought I would be married to a better soccer player than myself. She's going to hate me for this. She's a 4-time All-American in college, just a phenomenal soccer player, still can kick my ass in soccer, and it's so embarrassing. Anywho, so we watched the show religiously, absolutely loved it. When Keeley goes in the last episode of season 3, which is the finale to this point, and opens up the handbook, and it's got AFC Richmond women's soccer. First thing that hit my mind is we knew Ted Lasso was going home, and we knew that Roy Kent, coach, had been now promoted to the men's side. I'm like, oh my God, Ted's coming back, because he doesn't care about wins and losses. All he cares about is making his players to the best of their ability, both as players and as human beings. I'm like, he's going to coach the women's team. And now, lo and behold, it looks like that might be the case. We can still have Nate the Great coming back and being an assistant maybe for both sides. Roy being the men's team. Jamie is not confirmed. Jamie Tart is coming back. Hopefully he does. We have all the supporting cast. I look at the care that they took, because it basically, people discovered season 1 at the same time season 2 was coming out. So they went back and fell in love with both. Season 3 came out, and that was really the first time people were introduced as it was going. And I think people saw disappointment, and it wasn't as good as the first 2. If you go rewatch it, it is an even tone throughout. They're all phenomenal. There's really only one episode that I'm not the biggest rewatch fan, and that's the one where Coach Beard has his weird journey through Manchester City because they just lost to them, and it's just one doesn't feel the same as the others. But I really feel like they're going to give the time, commitment, energy to this season 4. So it's not going to be just a flash in the pan. We need money, whatever. I really believe they're going to take the care, time, energy to make this a great season, a great show. And the love that these actors and creators have for it really shows me that they're going to take the time and energy and make a great story. And I hope we get another 3 seasons let alone just this one season, because it's so good, so uplifting. It's an amazing mix of comedy and drama. And honestly, the worst part about it is when they actually play soccer, because it's like, ooh, those aren't soccer players. They really aren't.
I have to tell you though, like watching that show, there was a point that my wife and I were like, are we like missing out by not watching soccer? And I think we tried to watch soccer and I was like, I don't give a shit about soccer.
It's
But but I will say, start to finish, I watched that show when it finished. We didn't have Apple. I hate the subscription wars. I wish everything was in less options. But regardless, we had like a trial of Apple, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, you gotta watch Ted Lasso. You gotta watch Ted Lasso." And we did, and I mean thoroughly. First episode to last episode, I think that is one of the best TV shows ever done. I thought it's such a feel good show. There's moments that like things maybe don't go the way you want them to, but like you're in that with the character and they show you how to deal with that. And even someone as uplifting and amazing as Ted, when you see his darker moments and his sadder moments, it's just so well done. Like I love that show so much. Like I really do think that is in like my top 5 shows of all time. Like
absolutely.
just complete full story told. And I think that's the only reason I'm apprehensive of more, is because it always goes back to Space Jam 2. Like, we don't need to do more. I'm so happy with what I have. So I hope that it's great. But I feel like these characters got to all of the endings that we needed. You know, even with like Nate, like there's times you can't stand him, man. When he leaves and you're just like, oh man, like you're ready to just turn on him. And then when you kind of see where he was coming from and why he felt the way that he felt, and just even you know, Coach Beard is the one that maybe is the hardest on it, but to watch him get welcome back and to just I can't tell you how great that show. I like, if you're going through anything, you should watch that show, because it just gives you a reason to just like believe in yourself and believe in people. And I love that show so much.
And even just have a good cry. Yeah.
Oh man, like
You just
all the
have a good
episodes.
cry. Oh my God.
Like even the one you're talking about, I hear what you're saying, but I still think that was just so good because at that point we hadn't really
Oh, yeah.
seen his side of things. And there is a point in that show where Coach Beard is mad, and you know, when you get to see like him going through his own stuff, and even the side characters, man, like the woman that owns the pub and the people that the regulars in that, like by the end of that show I was so bummed it was ending, but I
Yeah.
thought it was such a good ending. And it's like I said, as you peel back the layers on everybody and you realize their struggles and the stuff they're going through, and I really think that show is just top tier television if you've never watched it.
100%. And it's funny, when we first started watching it, because I don't know if people know this, it's kind of like Bart Simpson. It was based on a commercial that was a joke. That
Dude,
was
those commercials are great. Those
the
commercials
shows
are great.
promote World Cup, and that I
But he's
believe.
a different character in those
Oh yeah,
commercials.
he is. But that's the idea, the nugget. That's why when you see like what NBC or something that they give credit to, that's where that came from. And it was to promote that NBC got the Premier League, the rights to the Premier League.
Yeah.
And it was just so awesome and hilarious. But when Alice and I started watching it, and we're like, this is just Major League. This is such a ripoff. I'm not digging this, because the first season is Rebecca trying to undermine the franchise that her husband loved. And I'm like, this is Major League. And being from Cleveland, obviously Major League is a huge thing. So we're like,
Yeah.
ripping off this idea. But then as you go along and you feel the heart, and just that moment when she apologizes to Ted and admits the truth, and he's like, big whoop. And you're like,
Yeah, like it's
excuse
just
me?
he's so like it teaches you so many lessons about like just like holding
Yeah.
grudges and misconceptions, and like even like the little things when you find out like Ted's the one that's been baking the cookies for
Yeah.
her every day. Like it's just so good, man. Like, and yeah, it is funny to think about like the first season she's kind of the villain of the show. And by the end of the show, you're rooting for her and her like that episode where they talk about like branching off into their own league, and she just has that mic drop moment with all the other owners. Like,
And that
it's so
that
good,
editing, but
man.
it's going back and forth with Nate playing the violin. And
Mm-hmm.
then Nate has that confrontation with his dad, and his dad's like, "I just wanted you to be happy. I did not know how to raise a genius." And you're like, "Oh my
It's
god!" Like this
dude.
dude, the whole series, who is his dad, nobody can make him happy. You can't make him happy. And once he admits that he screwed up with Nate because he didn't know how to raise a genius, I don't know if you noticed this. The next they're playing like Uno or something, and his dad smiles for the first time in the whole damn show, and you're like, there's so many layers. And if I swear, I've seen probably every episode at least 10 times. I'm not joking because I love this show so much. I catch something new, and it's just so good. So good.
I mean, there's so much to it, man. Like I'm telling you, like that show just as a pick me up, as something to learn from. It's so good, and there's every character in that show. There's something you can learn from, and I thought like, yeah, we talk about this forever now, and now that we're really getting into it, I'm thinking like, dude, the Roy Kent's journey, Jamie's journey, like everybody just
No lie, and I don't know if everybody gets this, but no lie, when he is sitting at the desk commentating and it's the Rainbow, the Rolling Stones episode, and he's sitting there watching McAdoo, who he just had him out to the playing pickup games so that he could get out of his own head. And he's sitting there sort of zoning out as he's watching the screen. And I can't remember who the announcer is as they're sitting there, goes, "Roy, what do you think? You don't miss that cold, do you?" And he's like, "What?" He goes, "You don't miss the cold." And he goes, "I miss all of it." And it's
yeah.
like, I felt that, like literally every single thing about soccer, every moment I played the crappy game. I'm from Ohio, so we played in snow. Every single moment, I miss it. Miss every single moment of it. Would I play as a 47-year-old? Fuck no. But I miss that moment. And it's like, oh man. So feeling that.
Honestly, like I feel that like I played hockey through high school, but I mean there's times like if we go ice skating or something, there's a moment where I'm like, man, dude, like I miss like that feeling. I miss the like watching games. Like if you really were into something, it that's a moment you register with, and you're right. Like it's just everything about that show is so outstanding. We're getting all on the emotional parts, but I think my favorite moment of the show, funny, like humor wise, is the no context end of Amsterdam. Coach Beard coming on as Piggy Stardust. No context, nothing said. You don't understand what he did all night, but he comes back as Piggy Stardust. I fucking laugh my ass off at that every time. But
And he speaks Dutch, and he's like, "Don't tell you."
yeah, yeah, it's so good, man. It's so good. So
And I don't mean to nerd out, but that episode again hit home because I toured Europe, mainly Holland, playing soccer, and I played at IX, and that's where they're playing that game where Zava didn't show up, and it's just like, oh my god, I've played there, I've watched a game there, I love the whole Jamie Tart giving a tour.
oh
I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, my dad literally took me to the red light district, and I didn't get to do that, but saw all the shops and stuff. And I was 13, and he's looking, look at this, look at this. There's a sex museum, there's a weed shop, and I'm like,
you're like,
again, from a small
I don't know
hometown in
what any of
Ohio.
this
Like,
is.
oh my god, this is crazy. And this is how old I am. We started playing in West Germany and ended up in Holland. Yes, West Germany. That's where I was
Yeah,
playing.
that's
But
nuts.
it's funny because then I think it's the next episode after he found out the triangle offense or whatever, and it's the beautiful game with Johan Cruyff, which I have met and have a picture with him, and he was an awesome dude. He's since passed, obviously. But that next episode, and I swear to God, I'm the only nerd in the world that ever caught this. They're watching the clips of like Pep and Johan Cruyff and getting introduced to the idea of a beautiful game, and they're going to play it. The music that is playing is from a movie called Victory, starring Sly Stallone and Pele and Michael Caine, and it's by John Huston, who is Angelica Houston's dad. And the music that's playing is from that movie, which is about World War II, the Germans playing an Allied pickup team of soccer players, football. And it's I love that movie, but nobody knows about it. And I'm like, that's the music. That's the music. And I was like, shut up. I'm like, no, I'm serious.
See, what's cool about that is when Silicon Valley was out, when it was coming out, I mean, that show is fucking hysterical. But I remember I had friends that worked, still work for Apple, and they were like, "You're not in tech. There are so many jokes you're not even hearing because it's not what you're into." Like he's like, that show is far funnier than you realize because they're making jokes about shit that you have no reference for.
Yeah.
And I feel like, with your experience with Ted Lasso, like I don't know shit about soccer. I didn't, so there's that extra level of if that's what you're into. But I think that just shows like how good the writing is because like you don't have that with football movies all the time or sports movies in general. Like it's cool to see that they take that care of that extra level to add into the show, that if this is what you're into, these are little things for you to see and be a part
And
of.
that's an interesting point because now that you say that, it's not like the Americans are big soccer people necessarily, meaning like writers. I can't imagine Jason Sudeikis and Brendan Hunt are huge EPL fans, so they know the
But
game.
there was somebody on crew who knew that.
What's his name? Roy Kent. Why his real name's I can't remember it right now. But
Brett, Brett.
Yes, Brett Goldstein.
Yeah.
He's a writer on the show, but he's admittedly not played, and you can tell he is not an athlete the way he runs.
No. Listen, one of my favorite things in any movie or anything is watching people like. There's something that I watched like a actor throwing a football, and I was like, he does not throw a football. Yeah, 100%. So there's that.
Which is ironic because Keanu Reeves can't throw a football, yet he's been a quarterback twice in movies. It's like, really, dude? Okay. But it's funny because you watch this and you're like, I believe Jamie Tart and Samo Basaya and Danny Rojas are really the only ones that are competent at soccer, not at an EPL level, at even close, maybe not even a championship level, but they're the ones that can play soccer. Because even the goalie Zaro, the way he does things, you're like, that's not how you do that. That's not. But I want to know. I never thought for me to do the research and go, God, I wonder who is writing the soccer aspects of it because it's spot on. It's accurate. Even when they're doing the stupid shit where they're in studio or the commentators, the way they're commentating the games, it's like that is so it's over the top. Like when Bob Uecker did Major League, but it is pretty accurate to the stupid shit that they say.
It's funny. Like one of the soccer things, like I'm sure I've looked it up and forgotten it since, but that last coach that he sees in the last episode, I was like, he's a big
Pep. Yeah. Pep Guardiola.
There we go. I was like that guy, like just the scene that they shoot. I'm like, man, if I was a soccer fan, I bet this scene hits really hard. Like,
and I love what he tells Ted because it's what Ted said the whole time, where it's like wins and losses don't really matter. But then the look Ted gives when he turns around and is facing Beard, he's like, oh, you're like,
yeah, he just like nerds out for a second.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just talking about this, I just hope that it's given the same care. There are certain things like the ending where you're not really sure, who Juno Temple ends up with, whether it be Jamie
I think there's a lot of open-ended things that can continue on. Like we don't really know what Ted's status is with his wife, ex-wife. Obviously, we see him coaching his son. We see the idea of the women's soccer team. Juno Keeley is obviously working for Rebecca. We don't know how Roy is going to do as a head coach. I feel bad for the players, specifically McAdoo. If you watch season 1 again with McAdoo and watch season 3 with McAdoo, he enjoyed a little bit of the spoils of success. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he's going to be able to get back in shape to be a soccer player. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like, that's hard. You're asking a lot. So I don't know who all's coming back, but there are a lot of like Samo Basaya. There's a lot of open-ended things with him. The rich billionaire dude that was trying to do the Super League, you can bring him back and do something else that's stupid. I love that dude as an actor, so I'd love to see him come back.
He's outstanding.
Rupert, he could have some form of either redemption or further revenge. There's just so many things they can do. Nate the Great, we really didn't see his full story arc other than coming back to his humility. I'd love to see his success. Beard and Jane, what the fuck is going to happen with those two?
That's fair. Okay, I like.
They can tackle still. I mean, even Ted and his mom, like they're still the fuck you at the end of that episode, and where he's literally saying fuck you to him. Obviously, it was resolved, but it's like she just kind of left the next morning without a goodbye. So
that's fair. You know what? You bring up a lot of good points. So, I mean, like I said, I just want a lot of care put into this. If we're gonna do whether it's one season, 3 more seasons, like I just want it to be good because
Apple, one of the nice things about Apple and Amazon, which is all one of the bad things, but they have the money to make things that they don't.
they can make whatever
they don't
want.
care whether you like it or not. They're just going to make it and take the time to make it good. And this is one of their flagships of success. So I think Bill Lawrence is still involved from Scrubs and Spin City days. So I think
that is in my top 5 shows of all time too. Is Scrubs. I love Scrubs, so it's cool that he is part of that, and it makes sense because he's very good at writing sitcoms. I will say Scrubs falters out or fizzles out way harder than most shows do, but when Scrubs was on fire, it was fucking outstanding.
But even when they did their new class or whatever that was, it was good if you just watched it apart from the
100%. It was good, and it wasn't amazing, but it was watchable, but comparable to what you were getting out of. It was a little
as long as people, and it clearly they had a whole complete changeover, so the same people are coming back. So as long as people keep an open mind and just watch it, I don't see how this is going to be bad. I think it's going to be good. And if you have it with Ted's mentality, be a goldfish.
Be a goldfish, man. All right. Well